Thanks for staying with us. So there was a story that's been trending over the weekend, and as we always say on YourView, if it's not said on YourView, it's not yet in discuss, about when the fact that Nigeria charged 76 people, including 30 minors, with treason and inciting a military coup after they took part in a deadly August protest against economic hardship in the land that was known as #EndBadGovernance. Protesters in August demonstrated in Abuja, the commercial capital of Lagos, and several other cities to show discontent with economic reforms of the president that have led to rampant inflation and inflicted increasing hardship on Nigerians. Now, over the last week, these children were amongst the numbers that were arraigned in court, of which 30 were claimed to have been minors. Now, the police have not specifically come out to tell us who are minors, because we get different reports. Some lawyers are saying they are all adults. Others are saying there are minors there. We have various reports, but what are your own thoughts? I mean, we have a clip we'll be showing you in a moment of some of the comments we've heard from the press releases, from comments from the social media. We'll get a few comments for you to see, but I would like to hear from Nigerians. What are your thoughts on? I know Takwa also took the story in the papers. People are saying, what could be done if these minors indeed have been detained since August? There's an issue, there's a legal issue here. Is it legal for them to have been detained that long? Secondly, what's the role of their parents? What's the role of the community? What's the role of the police? These are the conversations Nigerians would like to hear about, and also would like to hear your own views on it. You can call us on 081 0764 1679 090 241 63440. You can also send us messages on YouTube, and X will be happy to read your comments. Let me come to you. Let me start with you, Nimo, because you're the lawyer amongst you. I know that this thing was quite shocking to you, if indeed these minors were detained. Let's start with the legal angle on this.
So for me, I saw this as a desperate effort by the police to how would I say, to deter people from protesting. So in a desperate effort, everybody they found at the scene of a protest, vandalizing public facility in Kano, were arrested. Holding up flags were arrested. They packed them to the police station. But then when they got there, the system became exposed because nothing was now done to select who and who should they continue with and what the system provides. So you don't charge minors or detain minors at an adult facility. If truly they are minors, if truly they are adults, who did the checks? Who confirmed who was above 18? And why did they continue to detain them, all of them together in one place? Why were there no proper, scrutiny done to separate the children from the adults? Now, they've left them there. They brought them to court, charged them eventually, and they were ordered to be detained till Friday, which was the date of the next hearing. And then when they came to court, they were completely malnourished. They had enough time that's why I extend my blame to the custodial facility, who, of course, just pack and join, detained. No proper paperwork was done to check, to separate, to find out who was what. So even the people that were released, on what basis did they just release them? If they did not find out these ones were 18, obviously they released them on who know who. Because we remember what happened. I just like to remind Nigerians that the End Bad Governance protest was well done in Lagos, where it started, initially, and Abuja, where it was done. But it was hijacked in Kano and some other northern states because some non-state actors or whatever, state actors who were anti-government funded the vandalization of public facilities. That's what we should first of all have in our minds. Now, the police insisted that the federal first PRO, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, insisted that they were of age, which means they were above 7, according to his statement, above 7 and
below 13.
Below 13. And he said they were of age, confirming that they were minors. That's where everybody now vexed. Our children who should be in school are being detained at a public facility from August till October ending, 1st of November, before they were properly arraigned, and you had to see them fainting for the proper thing to be done. So there's a court for this. I'm aware that certain felonies that of strong consequence like treason are not tried in juvenile courts because it's absurd to find children behind such a crime. So somebody was behind the picking of them and everything. So the blame is, yes, the government and the system failed. The judge where the case was arraigned, if they are aware that they are minors, should have insisted the proper thing is done. So normally when a felonious crime is committed, you would arraign the person. If it is of that nature, they will wait for the DPP's advice, or in a federal case, of course, state solicitors, sorry, the DPP again, I'm forgetting what the office is in the federal capacity, to advise on what to do. And in that time, they will be held in a facility. But when it comes to cases of minors, they are expedited. They are not withheld for such a time. Even an adult should be tried in court within 48 hours. Their rights should be read to them. So this smells wrong in every way. Well, okay, but I'm coming back. The blame for me is wide. And the North should sit down and question themselves.
Even the system.
I saw a video of the protests. I saw the size of my son in the streets. How is that possible?
Okay, we'll come back to that. Let me come to this.
Of course, there's a like Nima said, there's a wide
enough blame to go.
Yes, there's enough blame to go around. However, when a leader, a spokesperson says things, is weighty. So when the police PPR, the PRO, we were first PRO, said that once you are 7 years old, you can be charged in court. And none of this bad protester is under 7. So he said he claims they are adults because they are not under 7. That's weighty. Because whatever you say will be held and used against you. And we cannot claim to say that somebody that is 13, my 13-year-old, if everybody says there's chocolates there or there, you would get, they will give you a drink if you go there and carry something. All of them would go. Their ability to reason and think through their decision is very weak. And we know people have been arrested. Foreign state actors have been arrested for them sponsoring this act. So why are we holding on to children that we call our adults because they are above 7? Then the IGP came up and said the suspects fainted intentionally in court to draw negative attention. Those children did not look like children that can feint intention. They looked like children that they were hungry. They looked malnourished. And I can say it because I have people that were detained for months, awaiting trial, and their allocation for food was probably made from the Ministry of Interior. But those boys did not get food except I sent money to them. They were not getting food in prison. We needed to send them money so they can buy food on a regular basis. If nobody is sending them money, they will not eat. So were these children, adults in quotes, because they are above 7, that were being detained, were they eating proper at least one meal every day while they've been detained since August? Or how were they being fed that would lead to them looking the way they have been looking? Okay. So while we might say that there's a bigger issue of how to deal with the fact that there are even children of this age on the street protesting and carrying and looting, let's deal with the fact that when they came into the system as being arrested, were they treated with dignity? Were they treated as innocent until proven guilty? Were they given the kind of treatment we gave to a Bobrisky? Were we giving the treatment to them? But because they are small and they have nobody to fight for them or speak up for them, we now set a bail of 10 million naira. That's a bail of you will never be released for the rest of your life. That's it. If you set a bail of 10 million naira for people that were looting, that they are living off the streets, where would they get that money from? Okay. So we are not dealing with the issue.
Let's not assume that the fact of them living off the streets is a fact. What they were arraigned for was treason. Yeah. The entire consequence of that offense is what the judge will look at.
Yeah. Wait, let me come to they even be arraigned for treason. Based on the action they carried out. Should they be arraigned for treason based on the action carried out? Because that's why we have all these issues of cases in court for a long time and later dismissed. Because even a good lawyer would point out the fact that the case you are presenting cannot be justified. You waste court resources. After a while, they dismiss the case and then everybody goes back home. But these children have suffered and they've mixed up with stronger criminals and whatever criminality they have in them, their love for Nigeria will diminish because they look at themselves and how they've been treated. Why would you want to do better?
Let me jump here.
Okay, I would just like to ask Nima as the lawyer, what is the consequence if somebody actually commits treason? If it's established, I want to behave like I don't know, so let me hear. It's death sentence. So I think Nigeria feels that it is okay for them to arraign these children, and if they are found guilty, if they are found guilty, it's death sentence.
Shouldn't be qualified.
That's where I'm going to. So, because if they are found guilty now, we know where the parameters end. Now, I went online yesterday and I was doing research and I saw something that is the Nigerians Children and Young Persons Act, which is CYPL of the 1943, established juvenile courts and all of that. And this one says, for example, a child under 7 is not criminally responsible for any act, while a child between 7 and 12 is not normally held responsible until it can be proven they know or they knew they shouldn't do the acts. Okay. So now let's now put it
that's
in
where
context.
Olujobi is coming from.
Yes, that's where Olujobi is coming from, that if they know. Yeah. But now I want to take it back home. I want to take it back to the parents of these boys, because I want to believe that, like Tokpa said, I was listening to the radio this morning and the presenter was actually making a point that when they were younger, they saw some of these things happen and all they knew as children was, our big brothers are outside, let's follow them. And you now look at it as the big brothers are looking at, oh, we are training them to continue to take the baton from us wherever we drop it. So they are aware of the society. Now, in this context, who were the big brothers that handed them the flag? Who were the big brothers they looked up to? Now, where are their parents? I was privy on Friday to read a thesis on Alimanjiri and how it comes about, and the father having a large family takes his boys to another state to live with a malam. The concept is for training, but at the end of the day, when they get to such a malam's place, it becomes field in the wilderness. You are liable for your own acts. It pushes the boys into the street. So are we sure that these children, in quotes, are not from the Alimanjiri sector? Because I've not seen anything pertaining to their parents. It's not today that we'll have issues of children and their parents are all out wailing and granting press interviews. So where are their parents? Okay. Who owns them? And why has there not been action from maybe a parent organization to come and clamor that their children have been kept for so long? So where did these boys actually come from?
Okay,
are they also Nigerian?
I'd like to get the clip for our viewers to even watch, have an idea what we're talking about. For those who don't know.
They don't even have school fees. They don't have any. They don't even have these people, we are just 90-something years. Like 6 days. That's what the students say. My case is different than my child. What is
Hello. Please, maybe the recording can just stop for now, please. Let's just take a position and see what will happen.
Let me go and take the clinic. This person should take it to the clinic. They kept it here.
The prosecutor should do their business. How can you have 8 children? Staff. What staff? Sorry.
Okay, so listen. For me, there are different levels to this conversation. Let me take a few from Amnesty International. Specifically, said that putting minors through these horrifying detentions for participating in protests against hunger and corruption is so far one of the deadliest attempts to suppress freedom of assembly. Enough is enough, which we are very familiar with. Says that this is institutional child abuse. Now, we have a system breakdown, because it's one thing for a well-meaning Nigerian to see a child and say, okay, you have done something wrong, and this is the consequence of your sin. However, to put these children together in detention without recourse to the consequence that could alight from it is when you totally disregard the humanity in the situation. So my worry is, what could have been done? What was the better approach? If you, as a humane system, saw children involved in the act of treason and you rally them up together, what could have been the right approach? If for whatever reason, okay, you wrongly detained them, how could you have cared for them in detention that would not have come across that they were obviously malnourished? What is the right procedure? Because sometimes if you don't know something, you will not even, you have no clue that you've done something wrong. For them, you have just arraigned all these people that they've hosted the Russian flag and they've been accused of treason. That's all you know. But what could have been done is where my own conversation would like to start from.
76 in total. 32 of them confirmed by the Punch report this morning of, the governor of Kano and Bauchi State calling for the release of the minors, stated that 32 of them were children under the age of maturity. Now, what Dami stated was the age of criminal responsibility, which the criminal law provides for. But it clashes with the Child Rights Act, which places children under 18. It doesn't talk about criminal responsibility. The Child Rights Act doesn't give all those details. It places it clearly under 18. So you would wonder why the courts would resolve issues. So yes, children do carry out crimes, and they can be incited, co-opted, conspire with to carry out crimes. Now, the criminal nature of treason and the consequence of it is why we're all screaming here. If it was an adult, there's no business here. Originally, when I even read the story of their arrest, assuming they were all adults, and I wondered, what their actions would have, gone to the integrity of our country and unity of our country, I insisted they should be made to face the full wrath of the law. So I cannot come and say that if somebody was guilty of treason here, I would say that they should be released. But the debate here is that those 32 that were minors, what would have been their consequence? I'm surprised at the North, that they are now coming out, the governors, saying that they should have been released. Did they bother that those children were on the streets in the first place? That they were not fully engaged, schooled, educated? Because to free a mind, you need to educate the mind. What were the provisions of the state to ensure that a system, my father left the Quran like an al-Madri, he left his family house to my mother's family house in the same village, to live there, to learn. And you will do certain work for your mother. And he died an engineer. So what are you telling me? He did not go and learn any other skill. He was to learn the Quran, but this system has been allowed to fail deliberately by the leadership.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.